Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. So, topic of today is the evil of the devil. That's the topic. And we want to look at the psychology of evil, what the Quran says about evil, and who is the father of evil, then what is the place of human beings when it comes to evil, and then who is shaitan, what's the place of shaitan in people's lives, and specifically now, what is the role of shaitan in people's marriages? Some nikah, shaitan attended the nikah of some people. So you get to see that whatever thing they do, they always have recourse to shaitan. May Allah save us from that. People who print invitation cards, they won't know how it got to shaitan's hand. And trust shaitan, whether you invited him or not, it will still come. And some people didn't invite shaitan to their wedding, but somehow shaitan got part of the souvenirs. And somehow, mysteriously, shaitan happened to move in together with them in the house. So how would they recognize this? How would they know this? And how would they chase shaitan out of their homes and of their lives too? May Allah have mercy on us. So let's talk about evil generally. Evil, the psychology of evil. Evil is real. Evil is an actuality, whether we accept it or we deny it. Evil is real. Because you observe the world today, you see hostility, you see hatred, you see violence. These are among the greatest evils that we have to contend with today in our modern world. And then immorality is topping the list, winning more votes from amongst the people. All of these are likely, that is hostility, hatred, violence, and then immorality that has encapsulated all of them. You see, they are most likely causes for divorce nowadays. And divorce itself happens to be another evil on its own, depending on the circumstances and depending on how it came about. So evil is an existential reality, is an inescapable fact with which human beings, so long as you have blood flowing in your veins, you have to reckon with evil in one form or the other. There is evil. In virtually every culture, there had existed some word for evil. Almost all languages you can think about, they have evil. They understand evil in some form or the other, and they have a name for calling evil. Oh, Allah Akbar, may Allah have mercy on us. Now you see, universally, every tribe, every group of people, every religion, they have something they use in referring to the concept or the phenomenon or the reality of what is called evil. Evil is something that brings sorrow, something that brings distress, something that brings calamity. It is a fact of suffering, something of misfortune, and generally something of wrongdoing. Somebody has done something that is bad, that is not good. We said the person has done evil. So it's wrongdoing, it's oppression, it's suffering. Like Ayub said, Rabbi inni massani yadur wa anta arhamur rahimin. Oh Allah, an evil has befallen, a misfortune has befallen me. So it goes all around these kind of things that are not good, things that are not expected, things that human beings abhor. So the term evil has also been closely associated with anger or with rage, and of course with violence. So today people don't like to use that word evil much because of some of the theological implications of evil. You know, instead of them to say something is sinful, they use another word for it. They call it another name. People who are religious, they believe that evil has to do with sin because it is against the values or the ethics of morality and so many other things that have to do with being godly or religious. But there is no form of religion in the world or community in which this matter of evil or no evil is not important, because we see evil every day in its infernally multifarious forms, different forms, evils in different colors, in different guises. First, there are the one we refer to as the cosmic or supernatural evil, or what we call natural evils, like flood or famine or fire, fire outbreak, everything is burning down, or drought, or one form of disease or the other, or matters of earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, harmful and unforeseen incidents that wreak untimely death, havoc on people, that bring so much suffering to humanity. Some of these ones are evil. They call them existential evil. There are some kind of evils like that, well, so many religions in the world try to explain it. In fact, in Islam, we say this is a trial, or we say this is a test from Almighty Allah. It is evil, but we call it test, we call it trial, because we know that Allah does not do evil. Allah doesn't do evil. Human beings may find evil in things that Allah has created. That's why the Quran says, Min sharri ma khalaq. Kul a'udhu bi rabbil falaki min sharri ma khalaq. I seek refuge in the Lord of the dawn from the evil of the things he has created, not from the evil of Allah. Allah doesn't have evil, he doesn't create evil, he doesn't do evil. But there could be evil from the things as a consequence of the actions of some of the things that Allah has created, but not that Allah will do evil. But whatever thing happens, if you expand your imagination, you begin to see that some of the things that we see, we think they are evil. They are not evil per se. These are just things happening. It is our own interpretations that makes them to look like evil or not. Just like one doctor once told me that whenever you have a fever, you should be giving thanks to Allah for the fever, because the heat generated by your body is actually killing harmful organisms from your body. But we take medicine in order to cure the fever, don't we? So he says fever is not an evil. And I believe it too, because in Tawheed, we believe that any harm or any inconvenience that a believer should suffer is a kafara for him. Now you see, it's not evil again now. Yes, once you begin to understand it, it doesn't look like evil anymore. Now that is one form of evil. Whether we have explanation for it or not, only Allah knows best. But there's one that we have explanation for, the second type of evil. This one is the one we call the human evil. Human evil. That's man's inhumanity to man, man's wickedness to man. By human evil, I mean those attitudes and behaviors that promote excessive interpersonal aggression. Yes, things that have to do with cruelty, that have to do with hostility, disregard for the integrity of other people. Things that have to do with self-destructiveness, psychopathology, and human misery in general. These are the human evil, evil of human beings against human beings. Human evil can be perpetrated by a single individual, that's personal evil, or by a group, a country, or an entire culture. That is called the collective evil. So you can have personal evil or collective evil, all having to do with the evil of human beings against another human being, including the evil against himself, his own very self.